Welcome back everybody. It has been a while since I have uploaded a YouTube video, but I'm back fortunately. In my previous videos from months ago, I talked about quitting my job, wanting to focus more on van life and then wanting to focus less on van life. But because I'm still figuring out what I actually like to do in my free time, I can be inconsistent sometimes. But since the temperatures are getting warmer in the spring and the summer, I'm actually excited for the summer and for vacations and just doing things in the weekends. One of the things that I saw on YouTube a while ago, probably more than a year ago, was that there would be a solar eclipse visible in Europe in August 2026. And because solar eclipses are rare and you only get the full experience when you're actually in the center of the solar eclipse, that made me consider actually going to the place where I can see it best. The thing is, I'm still undecided, so I'm going to show you the possibilities, the places where I can go, the methods of travel. Should I go by car? Should I go by plane? How long should I go? And there is also a solar eclipse in 2027. So maybe should I consider not going in 2026, but waiting another year for another solar eclipse? Those are the things that I want to discuss with you today, and maybe you can give me your opinion or your advice on what I should do. So, I'm sharing my screen with you. I actually did record this part of the video already. This is a second take, because the first take it took a lot of time, but I do the second take to give you a more coherent and shorter version of what I discussed in the 40 minutes of recording before this. So I know in the beginning of the video I said that I'm still discussing what I would do, but actually in the 40 minutes of recording I already came to a conclusion myself. But I still invite you to give your opinion or advice, and maybe what you would do if you were me. So there are three options. Either I go see the eclipse in 2026 in Spain, as you can see here on the map, or I go the following year also in Spain. That's the number 3 on the map. And the third option is that I just wait a couple of years, because there will be more eclipses to follow, which are also visible in Europe. I was thinking and figuring out what I should do. I assumed that the eclipses were very rare, but when I saw this map, you can see if you're willing to travel a little bit, you can actually see an eclipse almost every year if you're willing to travel. My plan was to, in case I wanted to see the first eclipse, then I had to go to Spain. It will also be visible from Iceland, but they don't have the capacity to host all those tourists, so the only logical option is Spain if I want to be in the path of totality, where you can see the total eclipse all the other areas you can see a partial eclipse, which is cool with people online who have seen both total eclipses and partial eclipses. They say that you really have to experience the total eclipse one. So if I want to go this year, I would need to go to Spain within the darkest red area you can see on screen. There are two options. Either I go to the north, there are flights to Bilbao and Vitoria, or I go to Madrid and I take local transportation a little bit more to the north, so I am in the path of totality. For example, I take the plane to Madrid and then I take local transportation to Guadalajara. If I were to go in 2026 to this solar eclipse, maybe it would be better to go to Madrid, because I'm not a Spanish speaker, so I assume in the north English is not as common as in the capital, Madrid. I also looked at prices. If I were to go to Bilbao with Brussels Airlines, then I would pay for around 340 euros for both the flight to Spain and the flight back. If I were to go to Vitoria, then it would cost me around 160 euros. The flight would take 2 hours, and if I were to go to Madrid, the flight, it would cost me, both the flight to and the return flight would cost me around also 160. For the flight would take around 2 hours and a half, and those prices, the last two with Ryanair, those prices I'm actually willing to pay. But since the eclipses aren't that rare, I think I decided to just wait until another one. I can go in 2027, I can go in 2028, I can go in 2030. So I actually just discovered that eclipses aren't that rare. The other option was to go by car. I could use my mini camper van, but then I would have to drive from Belgium all the way across France to Spain, and I'm actually not used to such a long trip. The farthest I've probably traveled is from around the center of Belgium to the coast and back, so I'm not that confident that I would safely arrive in Spain. I also don't know if my car can handle it. And if anything unexpected happens, I think it might cost more than the plane ticket and my stay in Spain. But as I said, this is only one option. There is also the risk that there are clouds that day, and also the eclipse will take place near sunset. That's why you can see that it cuts off here. In 2027 there is also an eclipse. I prefer to stay on the European continent, so if I were to see this eclipse in 2027, I need to go to the south of Spain, the most southern point. My third option is to just wait a couple of years until I have more money to spare, or at least more money that I'm willing to spend on a trip for only an eclipse. There are still a lot of eclipses lining up. All of them, most of them will be visible from Europe. In 2028, another eclipse that will cross Spain, that will travel across Spain. And in 2030, another eclipse that travels across Europe. to see the full eclipse. You can see it goes across Greece. Athens is perfectly in the path of totality. So all the other options after 2026 and 2027, those options are still very good options to see the eclipse. Also, a reason why I would not want to see the eclipse is I think I would be disappointed once the eclipse is over. I think that the best way to experience a total solar eclipse is with friends or family, but I'm not actually willing to pay for anyone else to go with me to Spain. I think if I wait a couple of more years, the eclipses are still lining up one after the other, and I think I will have a better experience if I wait for another eclipse, if I wait a couple of years and I make it something really special, hopefully with friends or family. That would be a nice trip. And maybe in a couple of years, when I'm willing to spend more on vacation or something, I can actually also make it a real vacation around the eclipse. I could have a fun vacation on top of the eclipse. If I were to go this year, then it's just the eclipse and then going back home. I'm not willing to spend a lot of money right now. That's what I wanted to share with you. If you want to look up which eclipses you can see from your home country, you can go to this site on screen. It's called Time and Date. Ultimately, I came to a conclusion by myself. I probably won't go to Spain in 2026 for the solar eclipse, but I will certainly go one of the next following years. So still, I invite all of you to leave a comment, give your opinion. Maybe you are going to see the eclipse or another one. Thank you for watching this video. From now on, I will probably record more videos again because the weather is getting nice and I'm actually getting excited to begin again. So I see you next time.